Hey, what are you doing down there on the floor? It's incredibly lazy. The show is up here. Welcome to tonight's episode, tonight's program. You're joining This Just In with Just In Kim. Not bad, right?
That's better than just in time.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. This Just In. Anyway, today is Thursday, July how long have we been here?
We've been here almost a week, a little more than
Yeah,
a
what's
week.
the date today? Is it 10, 11, 12?
10th.
It's July the 10th, 2025, under the dome at America's Center Convention Center. I think that's what it's called. Or the Convention Center at America's Center. And it just dawning on me.
Isn't there a dome there somewhere? Isn't it? No?
Well,
Okay.
that's the dome behind me.
Oh,
the
okay.
dome at America's Center. And it's just dawning on me because I'm not the sharpest knife in the Adventist Review drawer. Is this actually the geographical center of America? I thought that was Omaha, Nebraska. Why did they call it America's Center?
I don't know.
I'm going to trust
good
all of you
question.
to get on Google Maps and measure the distance from the Pacific Ocean to St. Louis, and you tell me, is it truly America's Center? That's not really the most pressing issue tonight, however. It was a bit of a more relaxed day here
Yeah, not much going
at
on.
the session.
Yeah.
I mean, not much going on sounds like we did nothing, but that's not true either. But
Sure,
as far as policy and that kind of stuff goes, they wrapped up some church manual stuff this morning, and I understand if you're into that, and you should be, because the church manual is really kind of how the church learns to work together in a global sense, across cultures, across time zones, I mean, all sorts of things. That church policy actually matters. That church manual really does matter. And so, well, I know it's hard sometimes to stay awake when they go line by line, which they were doing today. It's really important stuff. And they're going to pick that conversation up again tomorrow on Friday the 11th. So you really should look at that, because sometimes we just go about the business of the church and we kind of wing it, and you don't really have to wing it. You can do business in a sense that makes sense. That's a lot of sense in one sentence. But you can do business in your church in a way that actually makes a lot of sense to anybody who might visit from another church or a brand new member who came from another church. Unity really matters, and that was actually another buzzword today. We had
Small
some
groups.
small group discussions again, a nice message from Elder D'Souza, and unity was the theme of that message, and I think he underlined, like, what's the difference between unity and uniformity?
Yeah, the small group sessions are meant to bring the church into discussion, and we've had a lot of heated discussion about some of the issues, but having small groups all over the floor has really promoted a good spirit, especially on the second half of the week. I think unity is one of those words that kind of can be easily fluff.
Yeah.
Can be easily...
We throw it around to sound good.
For sure. But when we look at unity and we look at even mathematically and scientifically, I remember I used to work at the hospital and did some research, and there's this concept of synergy. And synergy is taken up by the business world, and they're like, we just need to work together. But it's actually mathematically verifiable.
Yeah,
so if you
that's
have
right.
a drug, in the pharmaceutical world, I should say, you have drug A that produces results that are 10, and then you have drug B that results are 10. If you take A and B together, you should get 10 plus 10, 20. But sometimes A plus B results in 50. So you take 50 and you subtract it from the original 20, that extra 30 is considered to be synergy. That's extra, kind of freebies that you get. And I really see, like, maybe in evangelism in the church, that if you're doing evangelism and you win 2 souls, and I do evangelism and win 2 souls, the Lord's really doing all the work here.
And Justin won 2.
But if we do it together, it should be 5. But the synergy that results maybe 15, maybe 20.
I've actually seen that play out when we share the platform in evangelism. We bring more than one gift set to the equation. And it's not double when you have 2, it's often a lot more.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just imagine the exponential potential when the whole world church and all its institutions and entities are working together. I mean, I feel that's where God is wanting, that all of God's people working together, the Holy Spirit working through that. I think that's just be a beautiful experience.
Here's synergy. I mean, let me plug the magazine for half a moment. Today's magazine, gorgeous cover again. You want to grab this if you're here in St. Louis, visit our booth. I know you need to get a copy of this, and it's online as well for you in a PDF format. But this is synergy. As you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, the team at the Review isn't as large as you might think to produce a magazine on a daily basis. And so we've got people from every walk of life. The people on the other side of the camera that I'm staring at are helping us out, bringing their gift set. There's a printer that's involved in that in the local area, and it
Works
just
all night.
yeah.
Yep.
And this is the product of 35, 40 people or more all combining their gifts, and it's more than the sum. It's more than the sum. It seems to multiply, and this is able to happen. Yeah. So the other thing, we had some key interviews today.
We did.
I had the privilege of sitting down with Audrey Anderson. And again, I said this during our interview, I love all the chairs. I'm fascinated by how these people hold a large isn't even the word, a massive meeting, a business meeting together. But I've really, really appreciated Audrey in particular. It synced with me. And I find
Audrey
her-
Anderson just reelected as
General Vice
President.
President of the General Conference, right. And I just find that she helps everybody color inside the lines, but does it with a dash of grace, a little humor, and
Grace
kindness,
and
and that
civility.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yep.
And so I had the chance to sit down with her and ask, what's it like from your side of the platform? And little things, little details, like, okay, if somebody's making a point of order, and I asked legal counsel the same question, what is a point of order? And is everybody who gets up actually making a point of order, or are they taking advantage of the fact that a point of order puts you at the top of the list? And then little questions like, Audrey, what do you do when a name pops up on the screen and you have to read it and you haven't got a clue how to pronounce it? And little things. It was just, I had a wonderful opportunity to sit down and understand what it looks like from up on the platform rather than down in the seats.
Yeah.
And it was a real eye-opener, and it was another big reminder that the people who are leading out, I know they take hits from everybody because they end up becoming scapegoats for anybody who isn't happy with what's happening. But they're servants. They really are. As I get to know more and more of them, they're here for all the right reasons, and they want to see the work of the church go forward. So that was my takeaway. And then you today sat down with Ted and Nancy Wilson.
Yeah, had awesome privilege to interview the outgoing president, Elder Ted, and Sister Nancy. And they're just a charming couple.
I will note, by the way, that for that interview, you had better seats than you put me in. They had a big cushy couch.
Yeah, we had to get 2 seats, and we couldn't use these, so then we had a sofa, and we just, it
and
worked out.
those went away when I came back to it.
It worked out. And he's the outgoing president, and we just wanted to see where his frame of mind and heart were. It's an emotional time after having been president for 25 years and then vice president for 10 years. I mean, he's been around for, 15 years as president and 10 years as vice president. Sorry. And I asked him some candid questions about how he's feeling and what most memorable events during his tenure as leader. And Sean, I don't know, and you've been in the limelight of media leadership in the church. It's hard to be a leader of the church, having received all this negative attention.
I can be blunter than most because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I got regular hate mail over
But I don't
tiny
think it's
little
also
things.
like it's not just receiving it, but not being able to defend yourself all the time, because then if you defend yourself, that's also interpreted or spun in a different way too.
But I am in a different avenue than say Ted and Nancy Wilson. I tended not to engage. It's like, okay, you've spoken your piece, and I still, if I hear criticism and it's overwhelming, 300 people say the same thing, maybe I need to take a look. But generally speaking, if one person has an axe to grind, isn't happy about something, okay, you expressed yourself, you popped your blister, and on we go.
Yeah.
But you got engaged in a very interesting discussion today on constructive versus deconstructive reporting and the difference between the two.
Yeah. Steve Jobs mentioned that in the future, that with all the media getting into digital, and then he almost predicted the future, that destructive media will ruin a society, but naturally people will gravitate towards destructive media. And we're very intentional to be all about truth, all about reporting what is accurate, but from a constructive perspective. And that's not bias, that's just, we are a media entity of the church. And so as Seventh-day Adventists, you feed your mind with presuppositions that want to attack and erode and be acidic to what the church is trying to do, or do you want to be part of it and help the church move forward? These are the choices that we have in media today.
Yeah, and I think that's a big deal. I can't even imagine how General Conference presidents survive some of it. You know, today you can just open a website of your own for 20 or 50 bucks and you're off to the races and you get the whole world. You drive people through the internet and you start to report. And I think there's still enough left in our culture that if something's in print, it must be true. There's just a little bit of, but a lot of folks, when they don't have details or access to details, they fill them in. And I've seen that happen. Not very often, but I've seen my name in print thinking, wait a minute, that's not true. Where'd they get that? And I can't even imagine the level of frustration that exists for those in the big spotlight, like a GC president.
So you have these facts, and sometimes there's an interpretation that links these two facts, and the likeliness is considered to be like, that's what happened, but it's all interpretation.
Yeah. Back in my political life, I remember we used to read conspiracy theories, and I think I brought this up the other day. And one day, I was tempted to bite on them and it's like, oh, this person must really know. And then I started seeing people I knew in their story and thinking, that's not true. I was there that day. They weren't there. And because they weren't there, they filled in details and made it up. And there's a lot of that. And unfortunately, not a lot of accountability online for people who do that. They love to go on the attack and they're not held to the fire for doing that.
But I appreciated the conversation. It was like, whether you're a fan or a supporter or whether you're a critic and not a fan, I think all would say that he is a man of integrity, that he believes what he preaches. Now, whether you disagree with that or not, I mean, that's a different story, but they're just a gentle, wonderful, charming couple, and we just wanted to say a piece to honor them and say a proper goodbye to them and wish them the best in their later years.
I can't wait to see that one. I watched most of that one, caught snippets of it, but I was standing, there's a big window over there where I'm not allowed in here most of the time, and I have to stand outside and wonder what's being said. So I'm going to have to watch that one tonight along with the rest of you. So tomorrow's agenda, what's going on tomorrow at the session?
Yeah, so today, I mentioned not much happened, but there's the two parts that we keep referencing. We have the floor and we have nominating committee. And NomCom is wrapping up. The division officers and the department heads, some are caucusing, and that's being all concluded. That's concluding. And then tomorrow we have our final small group sessions. I think the presenter, which is myself, will be talking about mission and the focus of the church.
You need to tune in. Justin's going to be the devotional thinking, the preacher right before this next group discussion. What time does that go down?
That goes about what? We start at 9:30, 10:30-ish?
Central time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tune in, then I can critique it at my private website and tell you what he was really meaning to say. No. It'll be great, and those discussions have actually been led out by our very own
Siku Dako and Elder Mark Finley, the two together.
No, it's been. I've noticed people really seem to appreciate
that.
that. So, hey, until tomorrow. I can't believe we're already on. What day is it in the session? It's like day 8.
2 more days.
Yeah, it's a big blur. These people are working harder. It is a marathon. Just a few more days to go. The big Sabbath coming up. That's really the high Sabbath.
Yeah,
the second
with
one.
the Mission on the Move, which is the old parade, but we're all, all the countries coming out. A lot of people expected to come. A lot of energy, a lot of joy and celebration on that Sabbath.
Great. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching This Just In with Justin Kim.
This Just Out.